Formula 1 returns to the Red Bull Ring in Austria for round 10 of the 2021 season, with huge controversy before the cars even left the garage in FP1, with huge controversy surrounding the Ferrari power unit. That's following checks after the last race. The engines were deemed to be illegal due to technical regulation violation involving fuel flow and using oil to burn as extra fuel, which meant that Ferrari and their customer team Alfa Romeo are lacking significantly in power due to a private settlement being reached with the FIA that had a serious dent on Alfa Romeo's championship hopes, as their cars have been focused more on a low drag setup to maximise straight line speed, and Alfa Romeo now, with half a season left to go, will now be forced to switch tack to maximise their chassis and aero performances, which will no doubt take a while to produce back at the factory. And this meant Aston Martin, well, in good spirits. The Pink Panthers now only have one team to worry about, it looks like, in the battle for 8th place in the championship, with Williams now, with Ferrari seemingly down and out in 10th place, with them, along with Alfa Romeo being the slowest cars in the straight line. And this also gave confidence to Red Bull, and Max Verstappen coming on form as of late, and Red Bull looking for victory on their home soil, and the Dutchman will look to please the home crowd. Hey guys, Renault here. Welcome back to Formula 1 here for the Red Bull Ring at the Austrian Grand Prix, and here we have Alex Albon P16 out in Q1. The pressure really is here starting to mount on the tyre driver, but also for ourselves in the Alfa Romeo with the massive Ferrari engine nerf. Our championship hopes could be well and truly over now. We've gone to the formation lap. It's a Toyota front row lockout as well, this being a power circuit, and Toyota looking finally to be on the path to recovery, dare we say. With Hamilton on pole with Matsushita in second, with Max Verstappen the lead Red Bull from third, ahead of the lead Renault of Alonso from fourth. Mick Schumacher starts to lead McLaren from P5 ahead of Kevin Magnussen, pulling out his qualifying masterclass once again to line up in 6th place in one of the slowest cars in the straight line. Esteban Ocon starts from 7th place alongside the lead AlphaTauri Sergio Sette Camara, with Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly rounding off the top 10. Lawrence Stroll just missed out on a place in Q3, lining up in P11 alongside the Williams starting on the medium tyres of Nico Hülkenberg. Josh Taylor out in Q2 really is struggling and was the slowest car in the straight line, having to put more downforce on his car to try and find some pace through the corners. He starts alongside Sergio Perez. Nicholas Latifi got through into Q2 but get no higher than 15th, as you saw Alex Albon was out in Q1, along with both of the Mercedes of Russell and Kvyat, and lining up on the back row of the grid, even further off the pace than what they've been all season so far, is the two Ferraris of Charles Leclerc, and bringing up the grid 2 seconds off the pace in Q1, Rio Haryanto. And yeah, our championship hopes aren't looking so good now, are they? I'm not feeling too good about it now. We're down in P13, we're down here with the midfield cars, the Williams, the Aston Martins, and now these cars, being naturally lower drag, will be quicker than me in a straight line. So Alfa Romeo will be forced to focus now on chassis and aero work for the rest of the season. But now as we come to the 5 red lights for the start of the Austrian Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. It's a good start there from the Toyota. Matsushita looks like he got the best off from his teammate Hamilton. It's going to be about to run there down into Tel 1. He's going to make a move there on the inside line. Can't quite see there from his camera. There's a big dive there from the Williams of Hülkenberg. It's side by side with the AlphaTauris. They're up in front. And so the Toyota's already streaking away clear up in front. Now we're doing battle. Now we're in Aston Martin sandwich now on the run now up into turn 3. You got the two Renaults there blocking off the two McLarens. There could be a big dive there from Lawrence Stroll up the inside line of one of the Williams and an AlphaTauri there as well. We're sticking around the outside line, trying to find a way through. We get blocked off there by the Williams against Squirmy on the corner exit. Now we're still against Alpha now, using this switch, using whatever power we can. We've got the Aston Martin looking to make a move on us now. There's a good little one there looking to make a move to try and get back past the Williams now. Down into turn 4. We're going to get cleared by the Aston Martin. Now we side by side. Then we just managed to find a gap there to use our line, force them out wide. Because we still have the better chassis, better aerodynamics. That is the one advantage we have against these midfield cars. We just managed to squeeze it out, but I've got the TV there getting dived on the inside line there by one of the Ferraris making a good start. I mean, if there's ever a time for a Ferrari to get a good start, it is right now. But back up front, it's Nobihari Matsushita taking the lead from Lewis Hamilton. We saw him get a good start, and he's made it work through so far. Now he's going to lead the end of lap 1. On start of lap 2, we've already got a little bit of a breakaway group there. We've got Hamilton in P2, Max Verstappen in P3, pulling away from our teammate Kevin Magnussen, who somehow has got up into P4. He's pulling out absolute miracles right now. He's flying the flag for Alfa Romeo. At these early stages, with how slow that car is in a straight line, I doubt he's going to be able to hold up the Renault Fernando Alonso for very long. Alonso there with the slipstream, and now no DRS yet. They won't have DRS until the start of the next lap unless there's a safety car. It doesn't get activated for the first 2 laps after a start or a full safety car restart. Now then, on to lap 3, our teammate K-Mag somehow just put on the fastest lap of the race. Where is he finding this pace from? Have Ferrari remembered to nerf his engine at this point? And now on to lap 4. Now we set our personal best lap of the race, but now we're still right here with Hülkenberg. Because instead of it's taking Hülkenberg being on a harder come out of tyres for us to be able to keep up with him. That's how slow we are right now in this Grand Prix. With the solution, with the ERS, using the ERS well, because the battery's not changed, just the engine. Now Hulkenberg going to move on the inside line of Lance Stroll into turn 3. Going to make it down a little bit of a lock up there from the German. And then he's make it 3 wide, possibly get some good traction on corner 8. Hulkenberg to 2 focus, catching nothing on the Aston Martin. They're going to make a double switching there on the Aston Martin. Gets squeezed onto the grass there by Lance Stroll. We know he's defensively, but we keep it to the inside line of the Canadian. We're going to force our way through on Lance Stroll. We know how good he can drive defensively. He got a podium back at Hungary a couple of years ago in the Haas, holding off the Red Bull Daniel Kvyat. And now we've got the Aston Martin side by side. Looks like the floodgates have opened now for Stroll. Got a little bit flustered. Lost 1 place to us, trying to defend from the Williams. The Williams gets through as well. And then his teammate slips by. And then right behind him, we've got one of the Ferraris, Charles Leclerc, who must be running 0-0 wings. He must be running like ex-Matty G McLaren Honda levels of not downforce to try and get any straight line speed from this car. Because that Ferrari is the absolute slowest thing in a straight line. It was pretty slow anyway, and now making it even slower. But Leclerc pulling up miracle. He must have gone heavy on fuel, running on maximum attack to try and get something from this race. Because Ferrari, they're having a lot of late nights on Maranello to try and find out what is wrong with this car, and now it's just got a whole lot worse for them. But Charles Leclerc, we know he's never going to give up. We've seen the performances he can pull out in mediocre machinery, but now into turn 3, he's not quite close enough to the back of Lance Stroll to try and make a move on the Aston Martin. And now further on, looking back up front, you now got the first of the pit stops lined up, so Renault once again pulling the trigger early, as they've done a couple of times this season. Maybe at the home race back in France as well, they pulled the trigger early with Alonso and Esteban Ocon. And Alonso, the only driver there here in the pits, and he's going on to another set of the soft compound tyres. So Renault going aggressive on the strategy, and it's like AlphaTauri there had the same idea. The only 2 cars to pit in the race, and one of the other tyres, they're going to come out there towards the back. You've got the Aston Martin and Mercedes, so they're going to have clear track for now. But now, are they going to be able to use this clear track to push and make up the extra time that you would lose? Because you're doing a 2-stop, you have to find another 20 seconds or so in the pit lane somehow. But they've come out way ahead of Rio Haryanto, who's just doing his own thing, and I'm sure his own thing is regretting signing for Ferrari for this season. Well, the front still leading the way, almost half a lap ahead of the Indonesian at this early stage, is still the 2 Toyotas. Look, they've finally found something with their car. They must have flipped a switch or something, found a way to make it work, and now Lewis Hamilton, unseen, has retaken the lead of the Grand Prix from his teammate Matsushita, possibly Team Orders. If they're going to have any chance of trying to defend their Constructors' crown, they definitely are going to need to work together. Now you've got the other Renault coming in on that lane, so Renault pulling the trigger now with both their drivers, so they're committing now to the 2-stop strategy, it seems. So I'd imagine that Ocon now being only 1 lap later will also go on to another set of the soft tyres. And he's going on to, and it is indeed another set of the soft tyres, so Renault committing here to the 2-stop strategy with both their drivers. They must have seen something on the data that works for them. They must have seen the lap times that Alonso was putting in when he tries to make a move there, as you just saw on one of the Aston Martin cars. Oh, quite close off there to make the move into turn 1. Now they can have DRS and the switching on the back of the Aston Martin, which is going to be pretty quick in straight line with that AMG Mercedes power. Now Alonso, the 3-time world champion, going to try and make a move into turn 3. Not close enough once again to the back of Lance Stroll, who once again is like the immovable object. If Nia Jax was the irresistible force of WWE, then Lance Stroll is the immovable force of Formula 1. And now onto the end of that lap, this is where all the pit stops are. So I think Renault have triggered something here. The triggered pit stops here for the leaders. They're having to react now with the race leader, Lewis Hamilton, coming into the pits now. So it's Hamilton, Toyota going onto a 2-stop. Because last year their main Achilles heel was their tyre wear. Because the engine was so powerful and so good that the aero of the car just couldn't keep up with it. Now, what are they going on to now? What tyres are they going to pit the 2008 World Champion onto? It's going to be a set of the... I can't see from that camera angle. What's it going to be for the 2008 World Champion? He's going to rejoin there behind the Aston Martin. Where are the Renaults in this equation? In the fact now is a set of the hard tyres. So Toyota going to go to the end of the race. They're thinking that doing 1 less stop is the way to go. Now they've actually... Oh, it's an engine failure, and it's Max Verstappen who's going from P2. He's on the podium potentially. He's running in a good place, and his engine's gone. And Red Bull once again just not having their day here at their home event. And Max Verstappen, he goes up in smoke just like his car. And could that be the end of his title hopes as well? Now you've got yellow flags there, and a VSC now called out. Now hopefully that can stay out long enough for us to potentially get round to the pits. And the hardcore there onto the end of that lap. The VSC is still out. And now we're going to come in now to make our pit stop. So we're going to gain back a little bit of time. See that yellow flag still waving. As to try and pull the Red Bull car off the side of the track. Of course, you have to put a crane out to get that. So of course, we want to keep everything under a nice controlled pace. And we're going to set of the medium tyres. So we're going to try and take a set of mediums to the end of the race. It'll be quite quite an ask if we can, but it does also leave us open to a two-stop strategy should there be another need to pit later on. So we can't use these tyres up too much right now and come out there behind one of the Alpha Tauri, but we're not fighting the Alpha Tauri because they're going to have to pit again in this race. That's the one that made the two-stop earlier on, and I see there on the soft tyres. So Gasly there will have to stop again at some point in this Grand Prix. So if we can just keep with him for now, then that'll be good for us. So now further on from that, keeping with the pit stop, this is the pit stop section of the race now. This is where the two drivers, the two Williams who started on the harder cup out of tyres, will now be making their one-stop race. I mean, they definitely commit to this one-stop strategy. They've got a good chance for points now with ourselves being slower and the Ferraris looking out of the equation there as well. And that's going to be a set of the hard tyres for Nico Hülkenberg, the number 27 Williams car there, the end pit box. He's going to rejoin there back onto the track. He's going to come out though behind his teammate Latifi, who hasn't stopped yet. So Latifi's not finding the best pace in this race. And he's gone through into Q2. Only started a couple places behind Hulk, but the race pace really hasn't been there for the Canadian today so far. I'm sure there's going to be team orders to let Hülkenberg through. There's no point in him holding up Hulk, who's definitely going to be the driver of the two, who's on the push for points at this point. As getting now on the back of his teammate Nicholas Latifi, getting very, very quickly on the back of the Canadian now down into turn 4. And into turn 4 though, Latifi though is not going to get out of the way. I mean, he doesn't want to lose too much time, I imagine. Now then, further on, looking back up front, you've got the race leader there, Lewis Hamilton, still leading the way, but only just from his teammate. The Toyotas there, just imagine just running their own race now. Team orders, I'm sure, will be in effect for this whole position, because getting a 1-2, they desperately need it, especially with Max Verstappen out, and Alex Albon nowhere to be seen. And then his second and third places there, just behind the two Toyotas. You've got the two Renaults there running line astern. Got Fernando Alonso there with Esteban Ocon. Right, so Ocon actually has some pretty good pace right now on these soft tyres. They're both going to have to stop again at some point in this Grand Prix. But then we have the lead of the Alpha Tauri, which also has to stop again at some point. So running in a net P3 at the moment here is the McLaren of Mick Schumacher. Remember, McLaren is still using last year's Renault engine, Badger's Vibe, so they're still finding some good pace with that car throughout this point of the season. And then behind them we have the lead here of the Alfa Romeos, which should be your teammate Kevin Magnussen. And then we have the other Alpha Tauri there of Pierre Gasly on a set of the hard tyres there going to the race. And then we have ourselves on the medium compound chasing him down, but trying to just do what we need to do, trying not to wear our tyres too much. And then we have the other McLaren of Lando Norris actually coming under pressure from the Aston Martin. So the Aston Martin's found some good pace this weekend. You know they were confident after the Ferrari news came out, but this being a low drag power circuit, really playing to the suit there of the Pink Panthers. And now then with the DRS, Perez going to try and go in the outside line into turn 3. It'd be a brilliant move if the Mexican can pull it off under the braking. And he makes it. He's also on the medium tyre, so he's trying the same strategy that we are. Trying to take a set of medium tyres to the end of the race. And if he can make it work, then points are definitely on the card for the Mexican in this race. He got Aston Martin's first top 10 back at Monaco. He might actually be on for a legit one under the normal point system again today at this rate. And you also got the Mercedes there of George Russell trying this strategy along there with Alex Albon. So it's not just us, it's not Alfa Romeo putting out a worldly strategy. A soft to medium strategy is viable in this race. And then you've got Daniel Kvyat chasing down Alex Albon, chasing down the car that he technically vacated a couple of seasons ago. And then we've got Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari on the hard tyres now, so Ferrari not quite confident on their tyre wear. And then we've got Lance Stroll on a set of medium, so Stroll's going to start coming back now as Charles Leclerc. And then we have Nicholas Latifi on a set of the hard tyres, which really do aesthetically suit the Williams car. There's no denying that. But Latifi there not finding the pace in this Grand Prix. And Rio Harrington not finding any pace at all in that Ferrari car of his. Even slower than it was before last race. On a set of the medium tyres, he might still be able to do something in this race. Even if that something is just get up out of 19th. Now further on, looking back up front, you've still got the two Toyotas there. Even the Grand Prix, although you've got Hamilton there going slowly. Has he been team orders to let him through? Or is he going slowly?
Are you okay?
Can't believe it, guys.
I don't believe it! He's out of the Grand Prix from the lead of the race. Hamilton has no luck this season. And now you've got the Renaults there trying to make a switch over. Ocon forces his way through on his teammate Fernando Alonso up now into turn 3. And there's a huge lock up there as well. So Ocon using his tyres up now. He's going to be pitting soon, but Fernando there loses the place. But Lewis Hamilton from the lead of the Grand Prix. My man just has no luck this year. Whatever's cursed him since China last year just will not go away. You heard it. It's there. He did go over the gravel. There was a catastrophic. I think the engine just imploded there under the casing. A massive engine failure there. There's like cataclysmic proportions there. behind here, but the main thing is Lewis Hamilton, physically, is okay. He sees nothing exploded out of the car. Everything is internal, but I think the inside of that car just went through a blender, and that blender was the other parts of the engine. But now, Matsushita, they're flying the flag for Toyota, being gifted the lead of the race, but Toyota now, I'm sure, are going to be crapping themselves now. Is Matsushita's car going to make it to the end of the race? He's coming up now to lap the Ferrari of Rio Haryanto. He's coming up to lap the team that won the championships. They won both championships back in 2017. How the mighty have fallen. Matsushita just finds his way difficultly past Haryanto. We've seen the Indonesia before. Doesn't like getting lapped. And I'm going to bring it up once again. He took me out at Italy 2018. I was in the Williams. I was lapping him. And he yeeted me off the road at Ascari. So getting lapped, he's almost as bad as Mazepin, really. And then we've got the McLaren of Mick Schumacher there up now into second place, and in P3, somehow on the podium, is ourselves. We've got ahead of our teammate Kevin Magnussen. I didn't see where that happened. That's happened somewhere. I don't know if he's coming again for another stop. He's obviously at medium tyres though, so he's medium tyres though. Now he's the rear gunner. Somehow we come from 13th up to 3rd. And then we have the lead AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly. Now his teammate Seti Kamara is coming in for him to make his second stop. And then up here inside the top 6 is an Aston Martin. And I'm pretty sure Perez might be getting a nosebleed being this high up. Hasn't been this high up the grid since he was in Sauber in 2012, really. And behind him we've got the Renaults and McLaren. They have Lando Norris now in between them. Alonso there managed to make a move somewhere to get back ahead of his teammate. And now he's the one gaining now on the Pink Panther, the Aston Martin, which is running the best it has in a very long time. And we've got Ocon there makes a move on Lando Norris. And Norris not quite finding the pace of the 2019 World Champion teammate up in P2. But Norris though with the slow shim and DRS to try and come back. And Esteban Ocon into turn 3, not quite close enough. Alonso is still not quite close enough there to make a move on the back of the Aston Martin instead. And then one inside the top 10 as well, you have the Williams here of Nico Hülkenberg, and then we have the other AlphaTauri, Sergio Sette Camara, who's dragging along with him very nicely the Mercedes here of George Russell. Haven't really seen too much of Russell so far this season. The Mercedes car being pretty difficult to drive. Then he's got his teammate now who makes a move on Alex Albon, and Albon of course the sole remaining Red Bull in this race. And with Albon being nowhere down the order, this was a brilliant day for Toyota with a 1-2 on the cars to try and gain back on Red Bull and pull away from AlphaTauri. Looks like Red Bull might be leaving their home race empty-handed, and AlphaTauri going to be the Red Bull back team that come away with all the points. And then we have Lance Stroll in quite a no man's land there. He's pulled away massively from the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, who I'm surprised hasn't been taken off the track yet for going too slowly at this point, with how slow the Ferrari is in a straight line. And we have the other Williams there of Latifi again, just sort of doing his own thing, way ahead of Rio Haryanto. I don't know if he's got some sort of car issue. I know he's not normally this slow. Something has to be wrong with that Ferrari, apart from the obvious things that already are. And on to lap 34. Our medium tyres are starting to go off now. We've still got our teammate K-Mag as our rigger behind, the wingman for us today. I mean, we and him work so good as a team, but today we're the one in front, and if it was the other way around, I'll be trying to hold off Casino. But where are we going? I think we may have found the old parts of the circuit. We're not going to use the Austria ring. We had a massive, oval loop at the final corner, which would be really fun to race around if it still existed on the track today. Now we've got 2 laps of the race left to go. We're only 3 seconds behind Schumi, which is actually a surprise, and we're keeping pace with him. I'm sure he's just pacing himself now to the end of the race. And then right behind us now in P4, the battle's still going on. K-Mag, he's been holding up Gasly for so long in this race. He's holding up so good. Such a good defensive drive from Kevin Magnussen. We know he comes alive on lower fuel, but our Ferrari, the Ferrari engine in the Alfa Romeo just really isn't there. And behind them we've got the 2 Renaults who somehow once again have switched places. Ocon has managed to get back ahead of Fernando Alonso, but I imagine they'll be switched around again before the end of the race because Alonso, he's in the championship hunt. He needs these points now with somehow in P3. So Alfa Romeo have got the strategy bang on with us today to gain us 10 places out of nowhere. And the 2 stop from Renault really hasn't worked out for them. And Ocon is definitely not in the title fight, so he's going to have to let Alonso pass with 1 lap to go. I'm sure they're going to try and see if he can try and get past these cars in front, but if not, then he'll probably switch with his teammate Alonso. But Ocon though gaining on the back of the cars in front, as you would expect, because our teammate K-Mag is holding up a bit of a queue. He is the truly train of the day, the K-Mag train, which I'm pretty sure would be quite an aggressive train. You've got Ocon, Gasly, Alonso all behind us. You've got 4 of the most aggressive drivers on the grid, and Gasly now forces his way to the inside line to get up now into P4 for teammate K-Mag holds around the inside line. We know that Dane's never going to give up in a fight, but now who's got the DRS? It's Gasly there with the DRS and the switch team and the better engine. And then you've got Ocon as well behind the back of his arch rival. You can make a move into turn 4 now. Gasly goes very defensive there to the inside line of our teammate. And guys, there, he's just able to hold it on the inside, but came back there, puts the power down on the racing line. Imagine how to put himself ahead there of Esteban Ocon. But Ocon, though, with the sledgehammer and the DRS, going to try and keep it there to the inside line of Kevin Magnussen. Alonso there waiting in the wings just behind to try and find a way through. K-Mag's going to try and hold it there around the outside line. Going to try and get forced out, but K-Mag going to use everything he has. All that racing knowledge. He's got a couple of wins under his belt. You need to use all that energy now. And now around the final corner comes now the race leader, Matsushita. His car made it to the end, and Matsushita wins for the second time in Formula 1. His car makes it to the end. It could have been a 1-2, but they still pick up the W. So there is signs of life from this team as of yet. We got Mick Schumacher there in P2. Well, we weave across the line in P3. Gasly 4th. The runners both got ahead in the end of Kevin Magnussen. His tyres just couldn't hold on. With how much he was having to push that car, I'm not surprised. The weekend driver of the day, P13 to P3. That's a pretty good performance, if I do say so myself, but it was all down to the strategy from the team. An absolute masterclass. But Toyota, I'm sure mixed emotions. I mean, they're going to be very happy, of course, if they get another win under their belt. The road to recovery does look to be beginning now, but there's still massive question marks over the reliability of that team. And Matsushita stands on top of his car. I'm sure he's going to be disappointed for Hamilton, but a win's a win. You've got to take it any way you can. And that's the second win for the Japanese driver now in Formula 1. The previous one coming at Monaco, so he's got 2 very good tracks under his belt to win his first 2 races on. Taking a look at the race results, and Matsushita gets his second win in Formula 1, second win of the season. He finishes in the end 9 seconds clear of the ever-consistent Mick Schumacher, P2 in the McLaren, and we somehow round off the podium in third. Pierre Gasly with another excellent drive, comes home 4th AlphaTauri ahead of the 2 Renaults, with Ocon still in the end finishes ahead of Fernando Alonso and takes the fastest lap to Ocon with a statement of intent in this race. And K-Mag, as you saw, could have had P4, just couldn't quite hold on in the end, finishes in 7th place, ahead of the other McLaren and Lando Norris in P8. Sergio Perez, with his best result for quite a while, comes across the line in P9 to take 4 very crucial points for Aston Martin, with Sergio Kamara not quite making the 2-stop work, finishing in 10th. Hulkenberg takes 2 points for Williams in 11th, and Alex Albon just manages to scrape a point for Red Bull in P12. Now onto the Drivers' Championship standings, and despite us having the second slowest car in a straight line on the grid, we retake the lead on the Drivers' Championship. The strategy came through today, so good from Alfa Romeo, and we now lead by 1 point from Fernando Alonso. And Mick Schumacher, the ever-consistent German, the 2019 world champion, who won it then from his consistency at the early point of the season, so he knows he just needs to get the results he needs. It's not about winning every race, it's about getting the best result he can, kind of like the Alan Prost way of winning championships. He's himself now back up into 3rd place, and he's only 39 points behind after nearly halfway of the season, so he's still very much in the title picture, as is Max Verstappen despite retiring from today's race, and I would say Norris as well. If Matsushita can keep winning races, he can get himself well into this title fight as well now in P6 on 92 points. 6 points clear of our teammate Kevin Magnussen, who drops down into P7. Esteban Ocon still remains in P8 on 76 points. And he's 12 points clear of the AlphaTauri of Sergio Kamara. And with his P4 finish today, Pierre Gasly gets up into 10th place. And now both AlphaTauris are ahead of Alex Albon. And that being at the home race for Red Bull is not going to go down well with Helmut Marko. And Lewis Hamilton, he could have been on 63 points right now, but instead he stays on 43 and still just about remains inside the top 12. And now onto the constructor standings, and Alfa Romeo still lead the way. We're now 11 points clear of Renault on 239 points to Renault's 228. And still McLaren only 28 points behind, so I would say the ever-consistent Norris and Schumi really keeping them in the title picture. And Red Bull now starting to fall away in the constructors now in P4, quite some way off 72 points. Toyota though get ahead of AlphaTauri for P5 on 135 points, with AlphaTauri in P6 on 126. But still, when was the last time AlphaTauri had 126 points under their belt? I think it was back in 2016 when they were still Toro Rosso, and that was at the end of the season, not halfway through, so they're still having their best season for a very, very long time. Mercedes are in 7th place on 65 points, 30 points clear of their customer team, and, as many would like to call it, customer car, the Pink Panther, the Aston Martin team. And Aston Martin pull away a little bit in this race, and now 10 points clear of Williams, with Ferrari still bringing up the rear on 17 points. So that's been the Austrian Grand Prix. One of the best races around. I mean, this Austria always throws up a really good race. It used to be there was a puncture every season, but it resulted in a massive crash. But the racing here, year on year, is just so good. Honestly, I think Austria is probably, for out-and-out racing, probably the highlight of the season each time we come here. So if you enjoyed this, then please leave a like on the video. Leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos, which will be on a Monday and Friday for definite. Wednesdays if I can, because I do work full time, so I can't guarantee 3 videos a week, but definitely the 2 on the Monday and Friday. As you've seen, select Saturdays for Formula 1 and Formula 2, and about every month or so, the WWE 2K20 pay-per-view event videos make their return, with the in-between SmackDown and Raw episodes results being posted on my Twitter and Instagram, so definitely give me a follow on there so the pay-per-views make sense, as well as updates to when videos come out, any updates in general I need to make, as well as on Instagram if you like Pokemon cards, because I do. I've been collecting now for well over 10 years. I've got about 4,000 cards in my collection. But I post them every so often, so if you're an enjoyer of children's cardboard, then please give me a follow over there if you want to see that as well. Link down below in the description will be a link to the driver of the day, so if you think I deserve it, or if you think someone else deserves it, whether it be Matsushita for surviving to the end of the race, Perez for his wildly overtaken performance today, or K-Mag for his mammoth defensive effort, then yeah, definitely go vote for who you think deserves driver of the day. As well as there'll be a link down there to the wiki for this championship season, which is basically like fandom Wikipedia. I've made that myself, and I've done that since the 2014 series, so 8 seasons now with this season going on at the minute. It's been a lot of work for every team and every driver to have ever competed in this, and it continues to be a lot of work each time I have to update it after every single race, so if you go and check that out, I would really much appreciate that as well. So that's where I'm going to leave things today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.